Hello everybody, welcome to the starter deck tournament round of... I forgot what round it is. I should have done that before starting the video. I'll look it up afterwards. I don't know, we're like 4 or 5 rounds deep into this. This is difficult to keep up. We're going second, that's not optimal. Starter deck mirror is the format. And... is this better or this better? It's a difficult decision. Hunt Warden's better. Going second, we can T2, T3 potentially. Would really like a T1 though, so I'm gonna get rid of the Barb Portfolios and we get Reckless Flame Breather. Now we regret it. I regret everything. They have a good open and going first. That's not optimized for us. We draw into something that we can play, but this is highly likely to end up being a value proposition for our opponent. Yeah. So this is not a particularly amazing opening for us. Here we have to play the Hunt Warden and just go face. They'll probably attempt to swing with the Hog here, and we can do this, ping, and heal. This finishes this off. We're left with this on board. That being said, they get a 3-drop this turn, so they could easily be destroying us very shortly. Yeah, so now, even if this guy misses, okay, he's not even going to take the chance on this guy. Not even going to take the chance. The poison to dagger is intriguing. The reason why it's intriguing, we can peel here and hit here, and then this hits here, and it's kind of like we traded the dock side for that. We can attack here, Panacean here, and cheat. We got a lot of good lines this turn. I'm going to go with this one. I mean, it forces this trade, and we're left with this and this on board. We keep the dagger, which might be a little bit more useful than just killing a Barb Portfolios. I don't know. But it kind of forces this. And then I guess this might hit here, might not. We don't have a good play for next turn. Like, we're probably playing the dagger and then keeping an eye out on the Nightleaf. Not particularly great. Didn't have much we could do there. Getting the Reckless Flame Breather in the opening draw is really hard to look at for our opening hand. I mean, they should have just attacked with this. They went face, which is fortunate for them. We have no play this turn besides playing the Poison Dagger, so there's nothing to even think about here. And we'll go ahead and push forward face. We are actually ahead in the favor race barely, but there's nothing great to get from the Sanctum, so that doesn't matter. The key here is look at our hand. It's just horrendous. We've got Flame Breather, we've got Juggernaut. It's just really, really bad. And Ransom is not what you want to be playing at this time of game, because even if he plays a 5-drop, it just kind of delays the situation and doesn't impact value. You really would like to play Ransom on a card like a Reckless Flame Breather late in the game, but at the moment that's not an option. They don't attack with this. So I'm going to go ahead and peel this off the board, play the Imp, and play the Enraged Ally. So the idea here is that he can only GP 1 minion. So he's going to GP 1 minion, and then he's going to hit here, and then probably GP 1 minion, and then the other minion left over is going to take this out. And then we just hope to draw into something useful next turn. But we've kind of neutralized this thing. And if we get to the late game, and when we have Juggernaut, we have Reckless Flame Breather. So we have some good cards to play. The Ransom can bounce their Reckless Flame Breather and render it relatively useless. It's a good counter. But here, it feels like we're kind of neutralizing, which I guess going second with an awkward hand with Reckless Flame Breather and Juggernaut early is considered good. That being said, I'm assuming they have some high-end cost cards as well because they haven't had the best possible turn. So we see this. Now, if they GP here, it's a little bit risky because it can hit there and then we can GP there. So they might GP here, then we attack it there. The Poison Peddler, okay. Now, that was a mistake, I believe. Yeah. So here I've got... So here what I want to have happen is I would like this and then to hit here, and then I can trade there and just play this. We'll see what happens. Okay, so we got what we wanted. Now, both of those minions, which were just exposed, got value. So that was a very good turn for us, and now we get to play this pretty cleanly. So I think they should have gotten value out of their god power there, but we made it awkward by just having so many targets out there. He's like, I don't know what to kill, so he chose to kill none of them. All right. So not much we can do this turn. The question is do we hide this or not? And I'm just gonna leave it. The debate is it worth hiding, or are we doing more harm than good by hiding it? See, he's always got a target to attack into with the Jail Beast, like attacking there and then pinging there might be his line anyways. So by weakening this by 1 health, I might be hurting its long-term value. But that's a difficult decision. So he elects to kill it, so it's interesting because I probably would have killed the Jail Beast, but I don't know what he's holding. Okay, yeah, maybe with the Dockside Prowler, his line makes some sense. Yeah, the Dockside Prowler makes a lot more sense because this goes into this very well. So his line makes some sense. But I still don't like really hiding the minion because then it's just weaker, and then it's actually still weak to the Dockside Prowler, weaker to the Dockside Prowler, and I'm not going to have time to just hide it every single turn. So we play the Juggernaut. I know full well that they could play Juggernaut this turn, but the Juggernaut is 50-50 to hit the 1/1 token. That is one thing to keep in mind here. Okay, they've got Spiked T, so it's actually hard to get value out of Spiked T, and they did it successfully, so they're going to feel very good about that. And they've got the Dockside Prowler as well. And we do not have a very effective turn this turn. So what we're going to do here is we're going to hide this minion. So I'm just going to assume that he's going to want to play something that's decent this turn. And this... Okay, so he plays this, so we're going to have to attack in and then heal, and then these probably end up trading anyways. I was hoping to trade this with something better, but I guess if we 2-for-1 there, we can't complain too much. I mean, we can. I mean, this is the FakeMews channel after all, and complaining is a hallmark of the channel. Actually, one line I have here is attacking here and getting the Archer ping and heal this. I think that's the line. I think I solved the puzzle here. So we're going to buy the Archer, which will finish off the Dockside, so he can't trade into the Poison Peddler. I think having this on board really impacted his last turn. He didn't want to do anything because of this. Now, he could be holding Reckless Flame Breather, so we've got to keep that in mind. So we might have gone a little bit too wide there, but we will get a swing, and we're definitely trading with stuff on board. If they do things, they might just GP here and pass, which we'll collect some more favor. And yeah, then when they play Reckless Flame Breather, we ransom. Okay, Wild Hog. So they're not holding back resources necessarily. The Rotting Mount. Honestly, my situation on board is so nice that, I mean, they can't just let me just build favor up here. I'm just going to pass. I could have bought from the Sanctum and played, but I really think he's going to play Reckless Flame Breather right now. Yeah, he does. He does. It's exactly what I thought he would do. And we can ransom that. Go ahead, ransom that. And I'll buy the Bronze Servant. It is a 3/3. So that is the idea. The ransom makes this a 10-cost card in hand, so he will never be able to play the Reckless Flame Breather. And we've still got a Reckless Flame Breather at our disposal for any moment that we would like to play that. So he has his own Juggernaut there. We can probably Poisoned Dagger as the cleanest line. Actually, the Reckless Flame Breather is pretty solid here. I'm going to go with the Reckless Flame Breather and try to pressure our opponent. So next turn, we're going to probably go face and play the Mount and hide it, and just try to win the game with the Mount. We know we've drawn out the Reckless Flame Breather from our opponent's end, so we know they no longer have the card. So we get the Spike T with this, but I think just the Mount and hiding it. With no more T, they can't really deal with it, I don't think. So yeah, I think hiding the mount is the way towards victory here. So we're gonna do this, and our win condition here is rather simple. We're gonna poison dagger. We're gonna go face, and then we're gonna hide this again. And I think we get there. I guess if he's placed a second front line, then it could be problematic though. But I do like keeping this hidden. I think it is a path toward victory. We're going to be slightly quicker on any strategy I think he comes with here. Now he can buy the Rune of Life, which does change the mathematics a tad, and he probably should buy the Card Shark actually. Now that I think about it, yeah, if he buys the Card Shark, it's incredibly awkward. Oh, he's got the Barricade as well. Interesting. Interesting. So what can I do this turn that's very effective? I can play Spiked T. That gets me 3 favor. I can use my GP, and then that gets me to 10. I can attack here. I can keep this guy hidden. That's one line. I can poison to dagger and attack here. It's another line. Difficult decisions. Difficult decisions indeed. I'm going to go with this line. Honestly, not even 100% sure this is correct. So he basically needs to buy the Rune of Life, otherwise I'm going to be able to heal this guy up, and it's still going to be a hidden issue. We got rid of both front lines that turn. I could have hid one front line and gone face, but putting him at 10 versus 16 doesn't change the math too much. I thought that he probably would GP this, and we're hoping that it hits here. It does, so we can actually GP there and buy the Rune of Life next turn if he lets me. Though I think now with this at 1 health, he's got to buy the Card Shark and probably the Rune of Life. He could buy both right now. That has to be very tempting. That has to be extremely tempting. We know that he's holding 1 Reckless Flame Breather, so he's got 1 other card in hand right now. He buys the Card Shark. That doesn't surprise me. Does he buy anything else? Yeah, plays the Imp. That's smart. Okay, Barricade's going to be very useful for me. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to take this out because it's a 3-1. And we're going to go ahead and take this out as well. We're going to use the Rune of Life to heal up the mount just a tad. And the Barricade is going to buy us a little bit amount of time. Now he can hide the Barricade and just ignore and kill this. But ultimately not much I can do about that. So he does chip away at this. We might have gone a little bit too early for the hidden strategies, but interesting, by attacking there, he's not really guaranteed to get by the Rotting Mount at all. And the awkward thing with Stack the Deck is we know that he's drawn Juggernaut and Reckless Flame Breather, so all we do is mildly inconvenience him by playing it. So a 3-3 doesn't sound like it should be a great target for Spike T, but it might be the best I'm going to do, if I'm being blunt about that situation. Valka's Discovery is in the Sanctum. That's something I have to keep in mind for my hidden strategies. It is very annoying. And he's going to get the favor to get the next pick in the Sanctum. So let's just go ahead, kill that minion. We're going to go face. We can't quite afford the Tartessian Improviser, which is a little bit unfortunate. But next turn, we might be picking that up as an option. We know he's going to probably peel this mount, though Minions is confused, so there is a chance that it does miss. probably going to cheat the barricade and then attempt to attack the 3-5 into the 6-3. That is a 50-50 proposition for him. He's got Reckless Flame Breather, one other card, and he can get up to the Volca's Discovery in the Sanctum this turn. But, okay. So that does work out. The awkward thing about buying the Improviser is the Volca's Discovery is a very effective counter. So he buys the Rune of Sight, which is overall, I think, pretty good for me. I can buy the Improviser and then basically hide whatever gets behind. Okay, maybe I cheat this instead. So I'm going to play the Bard Portculios, and I'm going to buy the Shield Maiden. I'm just going wide here as my strategy. And we're going to go ahead and just kill this. Okay, it hit there, which is good. I played these two out first because I just didn't want it to hit the Dockside Prowler. Dockside Prowler hits there, they can finish it off with the GP very cleanly. So the Poisoned Dagger, killing one of the front lines. We got him all the way down to 6, though, so he's very close to dying. The Bedeviled Shadow is a pretty good top deck here. I actually don't want to play Stack the Deck because I don't want to give him outs. He's kind of drawing off the top of his deck. He's got, well, effectively 2 cards in hand. One of them is Reckless Flame Breather. So this Bedeviled Shadow is an issue, and I just don't want him to draw outs. So he plays Rotting Mount, which is a solid card for him. But we're going to go ahead and just keep it simple. Keep this guy hidden. And this is going to ask some questions. He doesn't have the favor to get to Volca's Discovery, so he really needs 2 frontline minions to get out of the situation. And he's played a lot this game, so I don't think that he's going to be able to get there. And quite frankly, he would have been playing them a little bit earlier. He's going to go ahead and take the Death by the Poisoned Dagger. And we go ahead and take number 1. Game number 1. Game number 1 went our way. We went second. We had to battle back hard. We were able to stabilize and then eventually gain the initiative. So that was a tough battle. And now we're going game number 2, also going second in this one. Very mediocre starting hand. I'm going to get rid of the wall. Looking for something to do on 1 and still digging. But I mean, we've got it. Going second, we've got decent T2 options. I hate playing the Imp on 1, but it might be the play. I'm going to pass. So my logic here is there's so many lines where they just GP if they've got nothing better to do, and I'm just giving that up. I can play the Imp at a time where it's very awkward for them, usually. So let's go ahead, play the Hunt Warden here. So the Hunt Warden, they might do this and this, of which case we might be forced to play the Imp and ping, which is kind of cringe. But if I'm making them ping on 4 instead of ping on 2, I feel like I've done something. And you see here, they've done a very good job. They have 2 1-health minions, so I can only ping one of them. So that worked out extremely well for my opponent. Again, the advantage of going first, they have the initiative and the early control, and they're going to get control of the Sanctum. Judging by the start of this game, I don't see us turning this one around. They had a good draw with the turn 1 a Hog to turn 2 Hunt Warden, and there's just really nothing we could do here. We tried our best in our mulligan and just got a terrible mulligan luck, and potentially going to be paying the price for that. They attack with the Imp first, which is correct, and they go ahead with the Hog, and they get a little bit of bad RNG, the Imp trading for the Hog, which does basically, you know, make my decision to play it when I did look a little bit better. We're going to play the Secrets Broker. I know it feels bad not getting a card off of it, but it is what it is. They might attack here, and they've got a 50-50 chance of the Imp hitting here, and then they can just GP. But at this moment, I need to gamble. I need to gamble because I'm behind, and unfortunately, they're just going to peel it. Yeah. So this turn, we can actually GP here and play the Bedeviled Shadow, which is a line for us here that we didn't really have last turn. So go ahead like this. And then next turn, we're looking at attacking there, and then they're going to get a Sanctum option for sure. I might... Jeez. There's a time where I probably play stack the deck this game. If you notice, last game I didn't play it because I didn't want to give my opponent resources. But I really need to dig and get to Reckless Flame Breather. That is extremely important. Because I think that I'm going to be behind this entire game. And the only way back is going to be that way. It's just so difficult going second in these. And we're seeing that that situation playing out here. Is we're on the back foot and just doesn't feel like there's much of a way forward for us here. They had such a good start. So they can GP there. Now, granted, they actually also want to attack here in GP and they want to GP here. So one key thing when you're doing this matchup is if you're going to leave yourself vulnerable to their god power, leave yourself vulnerable twice because they only can activate it once per turn. That's one mentality I have going here. So they're going to trade there, so we did get them to do that. They do this here. They leave this as a sitting duck, so we can go ahead and take that out, except we can't because they've got this. So I think now we probably... I was going to play stack the deck, but then we drew Hunt Warden, which does change the mathematics a tad bit here. Now, interesting. Do I have time to take off to play stack the deck? I'm going for it. This is a risky line, and I'm doing this basically admitting that I'm behind, but I'm digging. I'm hoping that the cards that I got for my opponent are just kind of inconvenient, and he can't curve particularly well. We've got Juggernaut coming out next turn, or we could Blue Hunt Warden, Underbridge Assailant. We're hoping that these kind of just end up trading, though they might do this and this, which is very awkward for us as well. So, yeah, we just need to be able to somehow squeak value out of the spot. But again, they've already had one pick from the Sanctum. They're going to get the second pick from the Sanctum. And if you're wondering how that happened, it's all because they go first. They control the early tempo. And it's just so hard in GU starter deck to catch up when behind. And we see there, we gave them some cards to play from the stack the deck. And here, this is an easy decision. We got to play the Juggernaut and hope that it hits the 3/5. It does. It's probably going to get finished off by a Spike T, but it did achieve 2 for 1. But they will get the next pick in the Sanctum, which is going to be incredibly awkward. We need to find our Reckless Flame Breather, which is somewhere in the bottom 16 cards of our deck. That's the next key card for us. They probably should just buy the Card Shark in the Sanctum here and just go mega wide, because they're gonna the rebate from the favor they're gonna get back just by a swinging face is big. They've also dealt a lot of damage to our face, which this is kind of just gonna compound. Next turn, we pretty much have to play Underbridge and Hunt Warden. We did take time out to play stack the deck, but it was a questionable decision and definitely put us behind the tempo. It's the worst card in the deck, and you should only play it if you're very, very desperate. They buy the Archer and then pass. They really should have continued pressing their advantage. They have the advantage, and they're not pressing forward. So if I'm able to creep back into this game, think about that back as a moment. There's no board wipes in my deck until I reach 8 mana, so there's no disadvantage to playing Card Shark, and I can't take 2 mana off to kill a 1/1 token. So the Archer, I mean, are they going to really attack here, play the Arch? I mean, it's just so inconvenient. So they have the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut hits the wrong target from their perspective, the right target from my perspective, and we will be able to Spike T here. Okay, so Spike T the Juggernaut, and we will attack into here, and go ahead, and I can pick up the Vow of Champions or the Volca's Discovery. Big decision here. Big decision indeed. I am going to pick up the Vow because the Volca's is a tricky one. Ooh, it got replaced by Rune of Fire. That is very unfortunate. So I thought that this was a good card. The Volca's very situational, and I'm just hoping that he just can't get in the situation where he can consistently hide, especially when I've got the Spike T, which could confuse things. But the Rune of Fire replacing in the Sanctum is horrendous because they can buy the Rune of Fire right now and just go ahead and take care of this Jail Beast if they would like, and either go face or hit there. Either one works great for them. So they're going to go ahead, buy the Rune of Fire as expected. Sanctum really working out well from them, and it's just part of the compounding advantage of going first in these things. They're going to, okay, finish it off with the Archer, which we saw from the Sanctum purchase earlier. And here, this turn, don't have much of an option. We got to play the Mount. We got to play the Imp. If they've got Reckless Flame Breather, they might play it here. But there's really nothing I can do at this point. Yeah, I think we just have to Spike T it. We don't have the Ransom at this point, and we don't even have Reckless Flame Breather ourselves. We're getting very low on health, which is very inconvenient. They're also going to get the next Sanctum pick. So we've had one Sanctum pick this game, and they've had like 4. And that's just all going second. It's all about going second. If you go first and have a good draw, there's no way to win. And that's what our opponent has done this game. And there's just no maneuvering at all. That's the pet peeve of the starter deck meta. They go ahead and ransom this, which is interesting because I can actually play it. But I think they can get away with the tempo play. And they're actually asking the question whether or not I have Reckless Flame Breather. I happen to not, but they don't know that. We have Ransom. So I'm actually going to play 2 minions instead of 1. I think this is the safer play. Because they have the Form of Power. They can Form of Power and cheat here. But if we play 1 minion, they can just cheat, go face, and with Form of Power and us already at 3 and just being able to GP. There's just not really a comeback method there, is there? You could argue that playing these 2 were bad, because if he's got Reckless Flame Breather, he can play it, and then I'm pretty much ransoming that next turn and can't play the ransom in this. But I can do the ransom and Vow for the heal, which is definitely a line. So yeah, they're going to Form a Power and they're going to GP this, which isn't a surprise. We need to pick that up from the Sanctum last turn. This guy's 50-50 to absorb the attack from the Dockside Prowler. We would love to see that. Will our opponent attempt it? They should attempt it. I mean, you got to go to the casino with your confused minions. And they play the Bard Portfolios, which is pretty annoying. And they don't attack, which has to be an inaccuracy there for sure. So here, I've got to think what are my best chances to win this game. And my best chances to win this game are by playing the Rotting Mount. There are ways that, I mean, they can get me to 1, for instance, which would be very inconvenient. We do have the Vow of Champions, which he may have forgotten about. He didn't attack with this last turn, which was a mistake. That was definitely a mistake. But let's go ahead and get the Rotting Mount back out there. And, okay, yeah, they missed with that. So that was a key moment. We did gamble a little bit last turn. But getting this on the board, establishing some board presence, baiting the Reckless Flame Breather. Okay, that's very reasonable. We've got the Ransom for this, so send that back to their hand, and then they won't be able to cast it. All right. And this can be very useful. So, do I want to play the Panacean Messenger and heal, or do I want to play the Bard Portfolios? I'm going to go ahead and just heal. We know we're going to heal for 4 here. We don't really have to bluff that. We kind of have to. And we can play this next turn, and it fits more mana efficiently. It fits more into our potential draws for next turn. Maybe lets us use our GP when we do not have to. Continue pressing with these forward, maybe get a pick in the Sanctum eventually. The Valka's Discovery is definitely the best card in the Sanctum. The Fellow Tracker and the Card Shark are kind of just sitting ducks. They've got, like, geez, 4, 5, 6, 7. They've got, wow. They've got 8 cards in hand. One of them is a 10-cost Reckless Flame Breather, but we've got 2 and not much of a board and the disadvantage in life total. So they don't get to draw a card off the Secrets Broker. They should totally hide it, though. They should definitely hide that Secrets Broker, because that's a great win condition. Instead of hiding the Secrets Broker and going face, they kill a 1-1, which, that, again, is a terrible decision on their part. I don't think that my opponent is capable of losing this game, but it appears like they're going to put themselves up to the test on whether or not they can actually legitimately choke this. So we go ahead and play this. I'm going to go with the Bard Portfolios this time. You could have argued for the Panacean, but similarly, it's just the path of most mana usage here is the way we're going here. The Mount is a problem. And they can hide this for that matter. And they're going to go ahead with this. So here, I'm going to cheat this. They're incredibly close to lethal. So I'm going face. So my hope is they make a play mistake here and lose the game somehow by forgetting that Volca's Discovery removes hidden and then I get a great turn or something. That admittedly is very optimistic, because just going face here and then having this on the board is a problem. They should definitely buy the Volca's Discovery though, either way. Either way, they definitely should. Because if they like, for instance, bought like a card shark or something, they could get wrecked by this. Like that's really the only way they can lose the game, is by buying card shark here. Now that I think about it. But we will see what they do. The imp is interesting. Reckless Flame Breather. See, the problem with playing Reckless Flame Breather is I lose if I play it. They didn't buy from the Sanctum, which was a mistake. So if I hide this, I can go face with one minion, play Volca's Discovery. I can GP here. We don't win that way. So I have to GP here. That way I can attack with all my minions. No, but then we don't kill this. Do we just lose here? I think we just lose here. Yeah, I'll buy the Volca's Discovery, but we can kill this. The problem is we can do that attack there, for instance. And yeah, we just lose. The thing is, if I play the Reckless Flame Breather, we lose to the 1/1 imp that comes out after it. So, I mean, we just lose in all scenarios there. There's not a line. So game numbers 1 and game numbers 2, we went second in both games. We got game number 1. Game number 2 went their way. They just got off to too good of a start to recover from. And here we're going second for the third time in a row. You really hate to see it, because I did such a great job winning game 1 where most people would have lost. And now we're getting punished by going second here. And this is decent. We'll keep this. The Dockside's not ideal because it just loses to the Hog, which he's had on turn 1 in both games. But it is what it is. Okay, he doesn't have a turn 1 play this game, which might be a good sign. If we can seize the initiative early here, maybe we've got a chance. That's all you can ask for sometimes. Okay, the Barricade. So what we will do here is very on curve. Go ahead and heal this guy up, run into the Barricade, but get some value out of the Panacea Messenger ability. Next turn, we might be Hunt Warden and Imp. That's probably the line. Yeah, so the idea is, Barricade and Imp might be better. See, I think we're going to be in a situation where he wants to use his GP twice this turn. I could be wrong. I'm going to go with the more aggressive line. I want to seize the initiative this game. I want to get control of the Sanctum. And that's the key here. Is we want to punish the fact that he had no T1 and a kind of a weak T2. So his draw this game is not nearly as good as his draw last game, which is a good sign for us early here. Like here it's kind of awkward. He can GP here, and then it's 50-50 to hit here or go face, and then he can do like something like this or this. He can do this in GP, and then the Imp lives. He's got 4 mana. He hasn't had low-cost stuff early in the game, so using the GP this turn is probably pretty awkward for him. He probably wants to play a 4-cost or 5-cost card this turn, and is really scratching his head at the moment. That's what I think is going on, and that's why we see him on the rope. Is we've put them in an awkward position here by curving out. So they have the 4-cost card that we expected. And now I think what we're going to see here is this is going to attack the 2/2, and then we've got decisions to make next turn. I think the decisions is we just go face and play Barbaculios and GP this. Keep things relatively simple. Now, okay, Bedeviled Shadow is very interesting. It gives us options. So here we're going to go face. We are definitely going to go face. And I think we get value. Do we get value out of the Twisting Improviser? I think, honestly, I can leave the Sanctum as it is and just play the Barbaculios. So this is going to hit here, then they GP. Again, we're setting ourselves up for a situation where they want to GP 2 minions. They want to GP the Imp, and they want to GP this Barbaculios. So it's just awkward. And that's one thing I've been talking about in these games. And one thing that we are seeing here play out. So by going face, all we're doing is really farming favor. And of course, we're pressuring them somewhat. But we really want to take the initiative here for sure. Because it can be difficult otherwise. So they're gonna use their GP here, which frees this guy up to probably kill the 2/2. That is reasonable, and they've got the Barbaculios themselves. So Reckless Flame Breather. So what line do I want to do this turn? So I can hide this, go face with this, go take this out, go face, and play the Bedeviled Shadow. I think that is indeed the line. Go ahead like this, this, and this. Again, we're in a situation where he wants to use his GP basically on everything. Do I buy this? I'm going to... I'll conserve my pip. I don't need to purchase from the Sanctum right now. And next turn, we're probably going to purchase. Next turn, we probably purchase. We might see a routing mount this turn. No, he's going to GP here, which means he can't GP this. So these two probably run into each other. This finishes this off very cleanly. This Imp has sat around like an insane amount of time. That is truly quite impressive. In fact, I think the line for me next turn is to attack here and then send the Imp into the Hog. And the Hog and the Imp is 2 out of 3 to hit one of these. So that is the line for sure. And then we make the Sanctum plays and start playing stuff. Okay, so they attack there, which wasn't a bad decision from their perspective. Now our Imp is slightly awkward. 'Tis true. So if we go face... See, I can buy the Improviser. Go face with this, kill this, and then buy this, and it fits the mana curve very well. So we're going to see which one this hits. It went face. Wow, that was very lucky for me. Shield Maiden. And we're going to hope to hit the Shield Maiden there, but we don't. Continue to pressure them. So we just have like tons of just tiny minions. And they, at the moment, can't really pick them off, which has to be incredibly annoying for them. So that guy, look at that. X1, 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 X1. His GP, he just doesn't have time to kill everything that he wants to kill with it. That is very problematic. That is just going to be a sitting duck to the Spike T. Unfortunately for my opponent, we have a very clean line there. And we can go ahead, go towards the face, buy the Ambitious Adventurer here, and just continue pressing forward here. And do I want to play the Wild Hog? Screw it. That's a good attitude to have, right? So the idea is I gotta kill him before he gets to 8. And this is just gonna be too much. We're just too far wide. We've got Ransom if they play a big threat. And we are just incredibly wide. Their God Power is gonna be completely overworked here. So yeah, they're able to kill that. That's fine. But it's just a tad bit too slow for our opponent here. I can hide this and just go face for 5-8 and then buy the Lambasting Wand, and that's game. That is pretty much my plan of action there. They buy the Nightleaf Trapper, which honestly isn't a bad idea, but because playing towards the Sanctum is pretty smart. So that ended up hitting there. We didn't know where that guy would go, but we do know that the Lambasting Wand is incredibly problematic. If you're wondering the reason why we hid the Hunt Warden, it's because I did not want my Wild Hog to hit it. So, I mean, that's why we did it. Was it necessary? Absolutely not. I could have just gone face. At the end of the day, we could have just gone face. So it was a little bit fancy, but again, trying to play very precise, win ahead, and don't let your opponents back into the game is the mentality that we're coming out with here. And ultimately, there's just going to be no way back here. We've got lethal. We advance to whatever the next round is. I should have looked that up beforehand, but we won this round and we advanced to the round that is after this round. That's how the tournament works. See you next time. I hope you enjoy the broadcast.